Hey, you Stygian Dogs. It's with a glorious sense of deja vu and promises kept that today saw the arrival of the Conan the Barbarian #1 omnibus from Titan Comics and Heroic Signatures. This follows after last week's arrival of the Savage Sword of Conan #1 omnibus. Let's take a look at it together. And here we go. So it arrived. Again, I have an Amazon complaint. I might actually return this one because this one's a little frustrating, right? I don't know if you can see it there. It's just such a bummer. Again, right? You get something this nice. So frustrating. But there's the front jacket and the rear jacket. And again, it's what you expect from the Omnibus series, and it matches the others. But Amazon, man, you got to do something. That's just such a drag. Now, this one is smaller than the Savage Sword, which I have been thoroughly enjoying. I'll give you a sense of the size difference. This one is 700 plus pages, but just for thickness sake, you can see how it nests nicely inside the Savage Sword Omnibus. So, I mean, this is over 900 pages. This is just, it's over 700, I think just shy of 800. But it looks fantastic. I have been thoroughly enjoying this. I'm not too far through it. I mean, I've read a lot of these before, some of them just digitally. Man, it's like Red Nails and Frost Giant's Daughter. It's just so nice to have everything in here and to read them. Have a look at them in black and white. And Barry Windsor-Smith, of course, is amazing. So let's look at this one on the inside. The thing I was most interested in was to know which issues would be covered in here. So it is issues 1 through 26. There's also Frost Giant's Daughter from Savage Tales #1, and you get Dweller in the Dark from Savage Tales #4. So of course, in the Savage Sword Omnibus, we have the Frost Giant's Daughter from Savage Tales in black and white. This, of course, is really neat because you also get the color version of Frost Giant's Daughter. And there's an area in the back we'll look at in a second where it contrasts the colorized version and what they did to accommodate the Comics Code Authority changes. So it's kind of neat to see. So again, issues 1 through 26. I mean, this includes so many classics coming of Conan, Lair of the Beastmen, Twilight of the Grim Grey God, Tower of the Elephant, Zakula's Daughter. So fantastic. So very happy to have this collection. And of course, there's an introduction by Roy Thomas. And as I mentioned in the previous video, it is really worth getting My Barbarian Life by Roy Thomas. It's a 3-volume set. I have it here, and this is going to be fun to check out. So, Barbarian Life, Roy Thomas, that's Volume 1, Barbarian Life, Volume 2, and #3. So, Volumes 1 and 2, it includes introductions. I think it was a Spanish language version of Conan that was produced, and Roy Thomas did an introduction for each issue. So, this Volume 1, it covers up until issue number 51. And I think #2 covers up to, it should be issue number 115, which would be Roy Thomas's last. Oh, no, sorry, up to 100, Death on the Black Coast. And volume 3 then must go up until the end. Am I wrong? I'm totally wrong. Oh, no, issues 101 to 115. And then you also get details on the What If issues, King Conan, and much more. So these are really neat. I've been looking forward to receiving this omnibus so that I can actually read along with #1 of Barbarian Life. Just because I've read most of it, but I'm going to go again issue by issue and read Roy Thomas's introduction. So colors are great in here. I mean, these are such famous stories by now. So something that when I posted the last video, people were asking, what is a good place to start with Conan? And I mean, I think everybody agrees you can jump into Conan anywhere. It is obviously a good idea to read the original Howard stories, at least a couple of them. And it's you know, you can contrast them as you go and take a look at each as you read along. So maybe read a story, a Howard story, and check it out in comic version. But there was the question about, should I grab the Savage Sword Omnibus, or should I get this Conan the Barbarian Omnibus #1? And I mean, that is a decision to be made by you. I mean, you know, this is fantastic. It has so many classic stories, as does Savage Sword of Conan Omnibus. I really love the black and white. I love being able to see Barry Windsor-Smith's detail in black and white. That looks like Rogues in the House. So it really is just preference. You get something pretty special, I think, with the Savage Sword of Conan #1 Omnibus. But you can't go wrong. So, I mean, I just have to stay neutral, I think, on that question. So here is The Frost Giant's Daughter. This is the version that was included, obviously, in the monthly series, and it's colorized. And this had to meet the approval of the Comics Code Authority. And of course, there is, when you look at this story in black and white, there is nudity. You see nipples, and her garment is you know, virtually transparent, the thinnest veil of gossamer. So, for example, in the black and white version, we see her bosom, and this is covered up here. So it's interesting to contrast that. And I'll just skip ahead. Well, there's the black and white version. So we can see here that where the gossamer veil was covered, you can see her female form. But there's a nice little bonus at the back. I just quickly flipped through before hitting record. Where is it? Maybe it's just prior to this. I thought this was really neat. I've seen this. This is also in the Barbarian Life. It's the recommendations from the Comics Code Authority. But it's really nice to see the panel by panel comparison. And of course, they have Savage Tales #1 in here, so you can read the whole story. But this was a really neat inclusion. And then it addresses all the recommendations that the Comics Code Authority gave Roy Thomas. And again, Roy's got a really neat story in the Barbarian Life introduction. So that's some really nice bonus content. I have this. So it's, it's the preface from this 3-volume collection. I think I go over that in the video I have on that issue. I think it was it 6 issues total? I can't remember. 4 now. Some renderings of the original pages. So a lot of great bonus content in here. I mean, again, I have hours and hours of reading to do now between this and the Savage Sword collection. So definitely a recommendation. There was also the question earlier in the other video, what's missing from the Savage Sword of Conan Omnibus 1 from Titan Books, or Titan Comics rather, versus the original Marvel version? You get all the Conan content and the essays, that sort of thing. What you don't get, say, is in the Savage Tales where you would have the Khazar story, and I think there's a Man-Thing story. And I actually have those, I think, reprinted in the Man-Thing Omnibus, and I think they're missing the Conan story and the Man-Thing Omnibus, but I believe the Khazar is there. So there's those sorts of differences, but if you're really just interested in Conan itself, you're going to get everything you want Conan-wise. But yeah, definitely pick this up. I think this is available. I think it's around $165 Canadian. And again, on Amazon, the price drops occasionally. But obviously, with Amazon, you're taking a risk. And actually, when the guy came to my door this afternoon and opened it and actually handed me the package, the box was open. It's as if he'd been rifling through it to see what was inside. It was not sealed, nothing. This was in a plastic sealed wrap, so I mean that was fine. But I have that dent there, frustrating. So I may send this back. It's going to be hard to do now that it's in my hands. I just want to go through and read it. Anyway, a definite recommend. Check these out too. These are such fun books. There's just so much Roy Thomas content. Can't go wrong with those. And as you saw in the last video, how fantastic is that? So this will keep me going for a while. I'm going to have to order number 2 of both of these. I think they become available in November if they're not available now. And of course, you know, you can always buy the Marvel originals if you can find them. I think they're a little bit pricey now. They're harder to come by. I think when you get around, you know, Omnibus 3, 4, those are more available and you can find those. But it's great to see Titan doing this. It's so nice to have them on my bookshelf. Again, these are not going to be in my ancillary office. These are going into my home library, which is going to be fantastic. Thanks for watching, liking, consider subscribing. Let me know, did you get a copy of the Omnibus? And have you ever checked out The Barbarian Life by Roy Thomas, volumes 1, 2, and 3? They're a fantastic addition to your collection. And until next time, take it easy, you Stygian Dogs.